with Real and Raw, and you are? Who are
I
you?
am Batman. I am Batman.
Today, you're Batman alter ego.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is Brian back for another lively episode of Week of Evolution.
Yay! Yes, Week of Evolution. I am super, super excited because these are things that Brian and I have been working on in our life like forever, right, Brian? Like forever,
Yeah.
right? And so why not share the fact that, we are talking about different things about your life. And I think if you want to make your ideal dream of your life, you really got to take a step back and really like do the hard work and find out who the F you are is the first place, the best place to start. And so I just felt that it was a need to say, let's just be for real and let's just be oh, Jules is here. I love you.
Julie's here.
Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
We've missed her, haven't we, Brian?
Yes, we have. Haven't seen her name pop up recently.
I know. So thank you, sis, for being here. But truly, people wonder, how's that person got it all set? How do they got it going on? Most successful people have done some inner work. They've gotten out of their own way. They've, and there's some successful people who haven't done the work either. But you know what usually happens there? Right. They end up back to where they were because they didn't do that inner work. If
not worse, because the stakes that they're playing is higher to recover from.
Right. So they failed backwards, not failed forward. And so, I that's why I love the fact that as far as evolving and taking ownership of your life is really taking ownership as well of who the hell you are and how you tick. And so I'm excited about today.
Mm-hmm. It's a topic that is very important to me because no matter what you're dealing with in life, you're always going to you're going to face more people that are not in agreement with what you want to do than the ones that do, right? For as many successful people and the people that are striving to be better and to do better, you're going to find that group of people. But then the flip side is also going to be true. And which one is going to be more toxic? Which one is going to be more enlightening or more like a family, if you will, versus, we're doing everything we can to keep you in our little bubble and make excuses and blame everybody, right? Versus, an ownership for me is the biggest thing, because when it comes to responsibility and what things look like in your life, there's no person to blame besides yourself, right? It doesn't make any difference. Your circumstances, what happened to you. The next thought that happens after something tragic or something deep happens to you is the process, is the beginning of what happens next.
And that's what I like, because I realize we forget, hey, Larry's here too. Hi, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
We truly forget this one thing, that how we felt about a situation or what we did or what we didn't do. If we can't face, like I said, I have things that, have affected my daughters. I have to think that my actions affected them. I can't change that. I can't change that. Hi, Ray. Thanks for being here. I don't know what link you put in here, but we'll just leave that alone.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I can't change the impact and the damage that I may have done in my daughter's mental being, but it's a ripple effect. I told her, look, I can't change that. I'm sorry. It's not an excuse, but I'm just saying, but I can't live there with you anymore. We are so beyond that. We can't live that story again. We have to move forward and get better. And the fact that we spoke, she seen it from my perspective that she didn't know. And it was great to be able to have that. Oh my gosh. I'm double getting trouble here.
He invented intermittent water.
Okay. So Brian, I gave him the backstory and I told him, and now I'm getting double slammed at two ends here.
That is funny. No. That is freaking funny.
Now Brian's going to really like you. Now I'm going to have problems here. You guys, okay, the rest of you don't need to know what's going on right now. That's all I got to say. Anyhow.
Okay, so hold on. Here's a PSA about what Lynn's looking for in her next vehicle. I don't know what type, make, model, or whatever, but it must have one amenity and one amenity only. It can be just a bag of parts and maybe rusted out, but
Hey.
it has to have intermittent wipers.
Hey, when you're building your dream, you've got to know what you want. And that's just one of the things. That's just an example of that. But we'll leave that alone for now, boys.
You know what we should do? We should I'm sure I could dig up Lynn's address. We should send her some wipers with a little battery attached to it. And
Brian, stop.
They're not intermittent wipers, but I'm sure we could throw some kind of timer on there or something. We could
listen, we're taking ownership of our life here. So we all know that Lynn wants intermittent wipers. Okay. Yes. So it's just, man, she likes Pringles too. I do. No, I don't. What the heck are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
All of a sudden, you're going to have all these deliveries by the end of this week, where our Friday show is going to be with Pamela on our Friday improv show. You know, Lynn is going to be bombarded with the FedEx or UPS guy.
Oh, Amy Lee is in the house.
Hey, Amy Lee. Dream design.
Love it. Amy Lee, she's awesome. Amy Lee, I have to tell you the backstory of what's going on right now. It's not funny, but it is funny. Anyways,
Amy Lee, it is a very short one, and we're going to make Lynn blush a little bit more. So here it is in 10 seconds or less. Lynn's next vehicle must have intermittent wipers on it. That's it. That's it.
That's just an example. So anywho, thank you guys all for being here. I really...
We're really blessed.
Back to topic. Thank you. That was awesome.
Hey, Ray, if you've ever tuned into our show before, you're going to realize we get off topic really well, because the only thing we have to keep us on track is a title, and then ultimately we reach an hour later. So everything we fill in between may be on point or maybe not, but it's all fun. So.
And absolutely. And we're taking ownership that we're taking time to be improvers and having fun and going with the moment. And our audience is a huge part of that. So I am honored that my little sis, Amy Lee, is here, because she is the dream design queen. I'm going to call her the dream design queen, little sister. That's what I'm going to call you. Okay. She can manifest, which, by the way, we're going to have about manifesting. I think we're giving you a hint for tomorrow. And so really, he goes, oh, look at that. He loves you already. Oh, shit. I'm getting doomed here. Anywho.
Ray, we're going to have to talk about that.
He goes, Clem's typos. What?
Don't be so convinced, Ray. You know, we haven't got that far yet, but I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. So anyhow, you know, as far as manifesting, Brian, I we're such impromptu here. I wonder if Amy Lee would join us as far as manifesting your dreams, because she is the queen of designing your thing. So, Amy, I'm not putting you on the spot. You can say no because you're a busy girl, and I honor your time, and it doesn't matter. But I think I'm just extending that invitation. Yeah. Just if you're interested, it would be wonderful. But anyhow, back to...
So if anybody's wondering, I'm not looking down because I'm not interested. I'm just ripping up little pieces of paper, because every Friday we do an improv style show. So I'm making sure that any words or phrases that stand out. Yesterday, Lynn was on a roll with more Lynnisms. So I'm just ripping up little slips of paper that we can use for our topics on Friday for our improv show. So that's what I'm doing.
I know, Ray. I'm telling you, he goes, this dude is your match. It's a great, perfect co-host.
Well, yeah. Thanks,
Ray. You know what? It's true. He's really kissing up really good. He's doing a good job.
Well, yeah. Well, Ray, you may not want to talk to me after the show. Who knows? Maybe.
Oh, Brian's like my little, yeah. Oh, the wet wood kills you. Okay, so wait till you see what I'm going to build with that, man, with the wet wood.
Well, Tracy, if you missed it yesterday, Lynn has a modernized version. Like if wet wood was the foundation, she's got a new word, and it was used a couple times on her show yesterday. So yeah, we'll be bringing that back. We'll do a callback on Friday of that word. So, and
oh my goodness,
we'll have Pamela Aubrey with us to be our guest co-host.
Yes, we will. Then we'll have Sherry get in the following week, and who knows? We may have Amy Lee the following week. Well, we don't know, but it's definitely some top leaders and fun people that. He goes, why are we ripping up paper? So it's a delay.
Yeah, Ray. What I'm doing is that every Friday we do an improv-based show, and so we always have a guest co-host with us. And so any words or phrases that pertain to our week, of anything that we talked about throughout the week, we'll go into a bag or a little basket of some kind, and we'll pull out those words and have a little quick session on Friday, bantering back and forth with those words. So that's why I ripped up paper. So when Lynn or I come up with random words that make no sense and are not in the dictionary, that's what I'm doing.
So he said, this is therapy at its best. And then Tracy says, ask her single can laters. What?
Oh, wow.
Hey, man, my friends are just like, put me on. Hey, it's my vulnerable year. You know, it's whatever. I'm going with the flow.
I love it.
You know, so, you know, it just, you know what? I don't even know that story right now. The Pringle can. What? Do I need to call her on the phone and say, what the hell are you talking about? I've been doing these confident tones, and I've just let go a lot of shit. And I'm telling you, I don't remember the Pringle can thing. I really don't. When's the last time I've had a freaking can of Pringles there, Tracy? So anyways.
Well, speaking of manifestation, you know what to send Lynn in Billings, Montana right now. She'll get like flavors that just came out or limited edition Pringles cans.
I don't know what the hell she's talking about. I'm being serious. But all of a sudden going through like Amazon or something like that, the actual dog sniffing or the drug sniffing dog will mistake sea salt for freaking drugs, you know, or something. Oh my gosh.
You're like, oh, this is drugs in here. Hey, Fido, there's drugs in here, and all it is sea salt.
Oh,
anyhow, on point, on topic.
Brian's in Wisconsin.
I'm in Wisconsin. Yeah, close to Canada with plaid on, and
yeah,
I talk differently.
It's just so weird where my ex lived for. I mean, I was just around the corner from him for 10 years. Now I end up in a co-host that lives in Wisconsin. What the hell's that about? I don't know, but we'll leave it alone.
Ricky, you know, I can't reach out and touch him right now, but you know, he's like 45 minutes away.
But you know, it's funny though. I think I manifested you. Okay. Anyways, I think that I manifested you because I kept saying, though, even though I'm not with Ricky, I miss a lot of friends that I have there. And I'm like, I wish I could go back for a reason. It's like, I'm going to have to go back because of Brian now. Oh, yeah. So that's where that came from. And so the Pringle thing is scary to me. The scary part about that, Ray, is I truly off the cuff do not know what the hell Tracy's talking about a Pringle. I mean, I'm serious. That's not something I eat. I don't know. Maybe she's confusing me with somebody else, but I really don't know. So what's scary to me at the moment is I don't recall that. Maybe I've been my confident tones have just gotten rid of that story, but offhand, I truly don't know what the hell she's talking about. Wow. So anyways, moving right on.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Tracy. Oh my man. Now she's made a reference to what the Pringle can means. It had nothing to do from my perception. Thank you for the back end there, Tracy. Oh my goodness. So I'm not losing my mind. I didn't know that that's her interpretation.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no Pringles in the bags. Yeah. Okay, so I was talking to Ray on the way to go to Walmart to pick up my stuff. So that's when he says he's gone shopping with me.
Okay.
Okay, now that my laundry's out there, can we move on to the taking ownership of your life by me saying that I'm taking ownership right now and say, okay, here I am.
To all of our listeners, if that's what Lynn thinks, taking ownership of all of her areas of life, boy, we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
No, I'm simplifying. I'm minimalizing my brain.
How'd that go again?
Minimalize. It's like aluminum.
Okay, I just wanted to hear it again, you know, with the Long Island in you.
Anyhow, this isn't.
Don't worry, I'll wait for you to get it. I'll keep going.
Oh, thanks, Tracy. Thanks for putting me in the middle there. So seriously though, I've realized that simplifying my life is just basically staying focused on the direction I want to go. And so that really does. This is why this topic this week is great about evolving It's because you can choose to leave a lot of shit behind, you know, when you're moving into a new house, or if you're buying a smaller car, whatever it is, you know, it's a matter of shifting your thoughts and shifting where you want to go. And that's why this is really important. Before you're manifesting what you want, you got to look at where you're at and where you're evolving and where you plan to go. And without doing that, you truly can't put the carriage in front of the horse.
Right.
And so,
that's one of the ways that I look at things, because it's like now more than ever in years past, we have to be very conscientious and we have to be very disciplined with our time, right? What we do with our life, because the things that we create a meaning for that we've been resisting to do because it's hard, or how long is this going to take, or whatever. We all have lists of things that we need to get done. But the difference is that with all the distractions and everything that we at one moment in time choose to bring into our life, now we have to consider looking at those things. If we want to get our time back and really take ownership of our time, our effort, our health, whatever, is that you really have to, you can't blame, like for instance, as an example, like notifications. Like I never get any work done because I get all these notifications on my phone. Well, you chose to somewhere along the line either choose the notifications on or not.
You
right?
see,
So
and this is the problem with that, Brian. They use that as being the excuse.
Yeah.
They're not taking freaking ownership. That people need to strip the fact that they're responsible for everything that comes in their freaking life.
Yep.
They are responsible. And I'm guilty of that. I spent a lot of freaking years not standing up for what I wanted and not making and creating what I want. I'm so freaking guilty of it. That's why I can mirror somebody and channel it out. Because I mean, what I see in others, I see in myself. So this is really important. For whatever story you give me, my answer is, you brought it. Yeah. Next. You brought it. Next.
It just blows my doors off. You don't even have to think about what you need to do, right? What you need to do every day because of all the fail safes, the comfort zone types of things that we may do. Like, oh, I'll just watch a movie, or I'll watch a couple videos on YouTube, or I'll do that online course, a couple modules of that class or whatever. I'll do it later.
But I was busy, Brian, watching this show that I wanted to watch.
Right.
Which
and so this is where the ownership is that you make no excuses whatsoever. It's either a hell yes or a hell no kind of mindset, right?
Right.
Start planting that in your head, that it's like everything that you do on a day-to-day basis, regardless if it's work, pleasure, makes no difference. Is it a hell yes or a hell no? Now, one could say, well, a lot of the things I need to do are things I don't want to do. That's fair. But at the same time, though, the only way that they get done is to do them, right? Obviously, there are passion projects, those kinds of things, but the things that you need to do every day to get yourself ready, like a healthy breakfast or a cup of coffee or whatever it might be, is that it should light you up. Because you ever notice that when you have things that really light you up, they go quicker, faster, and easier, and you're empowered by them.
Exactly.
Versus things that are decompressing, and what you could get done in one day takes you a month. Why? Because you haven't made it a priority. You haven't taken ownership of it. That and I'm notorious for this. My brain is wired, well, I'll do a little bit of this project, that project, that project, that project, and guess what happens? I get overwhelmed by, I've got 4 projects that are open, but none of them are done.
Right. But if that's how, I do kind of the same thing, Brian. I may have a couple things like cleaning around here. Like if I'm going from one room to another, let me take something from here to take it there, or whatever, or from my desk to my bed or whatever, because I work off my bed a lot of times. It's comfortable. So, wherever I go, it's the matter of saying, okay, if you're going to, do this or that. But the biggest thing is that you have no one, you design things the way they work for you. So if working on little projects and knowing that each project might take you a month to finish, but they're eventually all going to get finished at the same time. So you could be positive about that. Or why be stuck on one project if right now your desire is to do this other project? Because that's like with puzzles. I mean, I love doing puzzles, and I mean, you might want to do the sky one day. You might want to do this. I mean, for me, the variety, I get that. But there's nothing wrong with that, because you're still taking action to those different things. And that's
Well, and it only matches the way our society has taught us to think. They tell us to think about time management, right? And it's like time management doesn't exist. There is plenty neurological studies that'll tell you that the human brain cannot do one conscious thing, cannot do more than one conscious thing at a time.
Right.
And here's the thing. If you've ever done a project that you just focused on from start to finish all in one day, how long did it take you and how'd you feel about it?
You know, and people don't realize, what's it take that long to wash a dish? Shit. I mean, even if it's grimy and dirty, it only takes 2 minutes. Like what, or when you have your microwave on and you're waiting for something to heat, see how many things you could finish. Like if you really look at things as a micro step of what it really takes to do, you'd be surprised that you have a lot of freaking excuses in between. Oh, but I had to do all these dishes. Oh, I had to do this laundry. The laundry does itself in the washing machine, but how long does it take you to put it on a hanger and a thing? Or, you know, we say, oh, Brian, I can't talk to you right now because I'm doing laundry. Okay. You're just waiting around. And what are you doing with that? Well, I'm watching this show or something. Like we lie to ourselves all the time, and people accept these excuses from people. Well, I was really busy, you know.
Well,
so
and here's the thing is that she's so smart. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He knows that.
Is anybody that creates a course, anybody in technology, media, they know that our attention spans are short. So then what do? They break content down so it's manageable bites, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is that the only way that you get to do what you do is stuff that you write down and you reinforce and you commit to. Because there's boundless opportunities. If you have a moment to spare, it'll be taken in numerous different ways if you let it.
Right.
And the ownership is such a big thing because you put it on yourself first.
Right.
If you're fully taking ownership in your life, no words come out about anything external. If I would have got home early, if that person wouldn't have, if traffic would have been faster, none of that crap matters. If you are taking ownership, it shouldn't matter because you're so locked in that, hey, I need to get these modules done in this course. You know what I mean? Nothing else matters. And it's like, depending on your day and how your day works, if you're a morning person, a night owl, is that you lock that in for, if it's education and learning, that's time that is sacred in your calendar.
Right.
You don't let anybody get to that. You know, Tracy said a mom once said that it took 3 hours to unload the dishwasher. Like what? Just get it done. Absolutely.
Well, the thing,
and Tracy, that's the equivalent of, even though it was one thing she was doing, she had a myriad of probably other things going on
with the children,
which is the same thing as having a bunch of different projects open. But then you wonder why you get frustrated. You might create a meaning about a project and then go away from it for months or years, right? There's plenty of people that held off in doing all sorts of different projects for years because of how overwhelming it was at that moment. And then they created that seed in their head and then it just manifested.
Well, I used to have a big battle with myself. Like, I like things clean. I like things in their spot because both of my parents were OCD like that, like super, super clean. Mm-hmm. But they would demand that I do dishes this time. They would demand to do this, this, and that. So for the longest time, I'd be defiant saying, shit, I want to do those dishes when I feel like it. But then I wrestled with myself and saying, but shit, I don't like looking at those dirty dishes, you know? So it's one of those things that, you know, you've got to come to light. Okay, which is it? You want those dishes done and get rid of. Who else going to do it? Nobody but yourself. Right. But, you know, you gotta get over your programming or how you feel about things to own up to, okay, that was in the past. I can do. Now I know I can wash dishes when I want, and you want them clean now, so get the shit done, you know? So, I mean, it really is, don't use the backstory or the resistance that you have as an excuse, because there is, you know, there is no excuse at the end of the day. That's the, you know, ownership. Does this mean who I am? No, not who you are, but what you do. Ownership of the actions you take.
Right.
Wouldn't you say, Brian?
Yeah, ownership is, you know, is that you take personal accountability for getting that done.
Right.
If it's on your list, you take personal accountability. Now it's indirect. It's not like you're saying it to somebody like a coach or whatever, but just envision, like, instead of it, like if you're writing it down in a journal or whatever, a post-it note, that you're holding yourself personally on that fire. It's kind of like that famous quote of years ago where it's just like, what you do behind the scenes is what you do, out in public. Right.
Right. Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say real quick, the good example is this is my choice. I can either leave the dishes behind and spend more time doing all those dishes, or do I take the 1 minute now and get it done? So it's a choice of realizing what action you take, that what is the outcome that you're going to bitch about. Because if I have to bitch later and say, shit, Brian, I got a freaking tote full of freaking dishes to do here that I just piled up and I'm never going to get this shit done. Well, Lynn, why didn't you take that 1 minute to do them when you wanted to? Or why don't you, and I'm still working with myself in this concept. Like right now, I just have one little dishpan thing that I go, okay, by the end of the day, I've compromised myself. Okay, by the end of the day, I'll spend 5 minutes washing these little bit of dishes instead of taking 3 days. Or I don't like seeing dishes. I don't, but I hide them in the other room. That doesn't work because then I need dishes, right? So what I'm saying is you got to negotiate. You got to own up to how you want your life to see. Do I want to spend that every Saturday cleaning and doing all this stuff? No. So, you got to compromise and realize what works best for you, but take ownership whichever way and not use it as an excuse that I didn't have time.
So Ray, another way of looking at this is that it's either external or internal, right?
Right.
So it's like, if you don't get something done, it doesn't mean you're wrong, bad person, any of that. It just means you ran out of time or whatever. But you acknowledge it. It's like, okay, because most people, they look at their list and they look for everything they didn't do versus what they did do. Okay.
Chris is in the house.
Christopher.
I love you, bro.
Love you too. And so when we look at that, Ray, is that anything that goes to external, like, oh, the weather sucked or this or that, you remove any external excuse or piece of blame, right? Taking ownership is that you leave early. You do something, like if you can't, like if you golf and you want to go golfing, well, that didn't happen. Well, then you did this instead, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it doesn't go external. If you didn't get done all that you wanted to get done inside of your heart, you just have a simple conversation that says, I'll do better tomorrow. I will, I was out of integrity. I said I was going to do these things. I didn't do them all. So then I put it to the next day, but you don't make yourself wrong for it. What did Ray say?
He should say, I need to know, Brian, to let her know how to inspire the world. Yeah, because this girl ain't gonna be controlled by no one. No, yeah. This girl's got a message.
Hey, so I don't know how many of our listeners are watching this, but you see around the microphone where the windscreen is, it's actually on fire. That's the only way that Lynn rolls when we do our show.
But no, seriously, you guys, it just comes down to, and if you have a problem of not achieving what you put on your list for the day, just be very mindful that it's even that crafting and setting yourself up for failure is not an option in my book. Right. If I do put a few things that I need to get done, I expect myself to get those done because I will keep myself accountable. But if for some reason you really know you're setting yourself up to failure, put it in your board that this is something I want to achieve for the week. Like even when I had my lingerie business and stuff, I would seriously know that my orders for my customers would come in a certain day, but I also know that the mailman could be late. I know this could be, but my word is golden. If I say I'm going to do something, I get it done. Now I give myself the allotted time to say, hey, I'll get it done sometime tonight. I truly try to stick to that, but I also cushion it. I'm telling you the truth about me. I may know that I could get this shit done in 5 minutes, but I'll still tell Brian, I'll get it done by tonight. And sometimes he says, oh, but look, shit, she just did it. But it's because I have to realize what else is on my plate, what can go wrong, always over promise, deliver whatever. That includes, it starts with yourself first. If you can't do this shit to yourself and keep your word to yourself, then you're no good to nobody else. And that's the great part that you should take comfort in. Treat yourself like you want to treat people is absolutely what's necessary.
And it's like let's say somebody puts a demand on you that it's like, man, I don't really know when I'm going to be able to get this done. Okay, when is the absolute latest you need to get it done by? Right. But then like let's say you get it done early. Don't wait until the date is handed in. Do it early. Right. Or if you told somebody that you said, hey, I'll get to that by tonight, and you didn't. Okay, is it imperative that it's done? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but be in communication about it. Taking ownership means that you're transparent and vulnerable all the time. It's not, oh my God, I don't know what to do because I promised this thing to this person. Well, do you think it's going to make it any better if you don't communicate about it?
Right. And I know that I'm pretty hard on my word, but there's been a time I get in the clubhouse and I'm like, shit, it's 10:30 and I forgot to announce our show. But you know what? I got it done before the show. I didn't say, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm still going to put it out there. Well,
it's a lesson that you learn from doing it.
Exactly.
Right? The only way that you become a person of your word, which is integrity, some people call it honor, I call it integrity, is it's every day, especially on those days where you don't want to be accountable for anything. Right?
Yeah.
But it could be 11 o'clock at night and it's like, oh, crap. Well, you have a choice. I'm either going to have to restore my integrity or I stay in integrity. Which one do you want?
Or I could use an excuse and say, Brian, it got so late. Brian, I got so late that I just didn't do it. I figured, what the hell? But that wasn't an option, and it's not an option for me. I'm like, okay, I messed up. I didn't get it out earlier, but I'm going to do it anyways. Yeah. And I did it anyways.
Well, and it's like, okay, however we define our life and things that are very important to us, integrity is very important to me. So the only way that it really can be important to me is if I live it.
Right.
Dare I say, immerse myself in it. Right. And it's like, well, if I don't do that on a day-to-day thing, if I say I need to get Lynn a topic, I'm going to find it. I'm going to generate it. I'm going to take 20 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes. But you don't blame anybody. You don't say, "Oh, my dog woke up and the sun didn't come out today. That's why I couldn't do this."
Oh, I love Christopher. Yep.
Christopher says, number 1, stop lying to yourself. Number 2, stop blaming. 3, get off your ass. Number 4 is don't stop. 5 is learn, and 6 is implement, and 7 is repeat. Awesome.
You know what? He's so fired up. I'm almost ready to send him the link and just get his ass on the stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have a problem with that, Brian?
Well,
all right, because the world just needs to hear my brother. Let's see. There we go. Oh, shit. That's Chris. Message me real quick, please. Trying to find him.
So and here's the thing is that this may be different than anybody in your world. If you surround yourself with people that make excuses, they blame whatever, it's going to take a little bit more because you're deep into it and you're going to, it might not be that easy to remove those people from your life or just drift away, let's say, right? Because you've got a lot of loose ends. Those might be people that you confide in or see on a regular basis. Maybe that is the only people in your life, right? Yeah. But I can tell you what, it doesn't get any better than where you are.
Exactly.
Because they don't want anything better for you. And if you try to do anything better, they're going to try to bring you back in just like those crabs in that jar.
It's the wet wood. Get rid of that freaking wet wood, people.
Yep.
Yeah. So Christopher, no, you're more than welcome. No pressure to be on here. But you know what? I really think that the no excuse coach is really poignant right now because we're just so passionate for people to wake up and realize it all starts, like you've heard it over and over. It all starts with you and you dealing with yourself first. You got to realize what you're dealing with. And if you can't admit who you are and I don't mean all the freaking negative shit about you either. I'm talking about all the positive things and how to fix. If you want more positive in your life, then work on the positive because, we don't get better or we don't get where we want to be if we don't practice being and preaching that way. Let's see. And thank you, Christopher, saying
you're being here.
Yeah, I'm a hat and robe. Come on, Christopher Rouse. Okay, so, but seriously, it's one of those things that it really comes before you can think about manifesting your life, which is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. You need to start like getting down to the core of who you are. And if you don't know who you are, that's okay, because you know what? Just analyze yourself like third party and analyze yourself from that outer body experience and say, this is my habits. Just pay attention, observe yourself. Start there, observe yourself and figure out what ticks, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and make shit. Too many freaking people I know are so freaking miserable, and it's because they're full of all their freaking excuses.
Yep. Well, excuses galore.
Yeah, and I'm tired of freaking excuses. That's why I love Christopher.
I double dog dare you. Yeah. Christine's here. Did you say your quote, Lynn? Just jumping.
Gee, on now. Well, you know, it's just so funny. It's just I can't. It really is as simple as this, guys.
Wetwood.
Wetwood. No, but it's as simple as, you know, you need coaches. You need people that are going to be in your life to show you, you know, because we have those blind sides. Like we've said, when you're in the jar, you can't read the label on the outside. You just can't do it. And so with that said, you have to take the perspective of, okay, I'm doing something wrong. It's just like when I used to bowl. It's like, I'd be like, why the hell did they go in the gutter? Or why do I keep getting splits? You get a freaking coach to say, well, this is what you need to do. You know, I mean, it's just like, it really is. Let's see.
I got to see.
And then
I like Brian and Christopher differentiating between a coach and a cheerleader. Cheerleaders are, that's a distinction that when I heard that, it was very clear to me. Like when somebody pats somebody on the butt saying, hey, great job or whatever, but then they have all of these things that, that would break a person down, but then build them up, and not in a bad way, like, because they can separate the personal from the professional or the performance. And it's a total, because most people will feel attacked, right?
Yeah.
So that's why there's a distinction. Do you want me to root for you, or do you want me to give you the honest, information?
Right. Right. So I mean, again,
an acting coach or anybody like that, they're, Tim Grover, for instance, right? He was a trainer for some of the world's best, athletes, Michael Jordan, so on and so forth. Do you think that they came to him to, just pat him on the back and say, hey, great, you got enough championships, you're good?
Right. No,
no.
And that's just it. Coaches are so important in your life to make that pivot. I mean, or if you don't want to get a coach, there's so many freaking things on Google for you to speak, YouTube and all those things. And so it all comes down to this. When your desire to change is your desire, you'll change. I mean,
one of the simplest ideas to get anybody started is something I referenced the other day, is about if you're in an office environment and you don't like where it's going, find an inspirational quote to all your people that could use it and share it every day, right? I mean, that comes from Jeffrey Gitomer, so to give credit where credit's due. But that's a simple thing you can do to build people up. Now, are they going to think you're weird and different? Sure. That's like anything you try to do when you rock the boat or do something different, right? And so, but after a couple weeks, people are going to be like, man, where's my quote?
Yeah.
Because it impacted them. It made a difference. But you were willing to take a stand for them, not yourself.
That's right. And that's why, being an introvert, extrovert type of thing, where I just have the energy to give, and then I get burnt out and I'm like, I'm done. I don't speak just to talk. I don't talk just to speak.
Right.
I talk when my heart, my spirit tells me I need to. Like even in these clubhouse rooms, if I ain't got nothing to tell that person, I ain't going to say it just to say shit. I'm going to give them their fortune right now. Oh, hell no. I don't roll that way. But I do roll from the fact that I'm standing in my power now to say, you know what? I didn't have a voice before. And now I have a voice. I have a voice of, I accept who I am. I didn't accept myself for being intuitive. I didn't accept myself for my beauty. I didn't accept myself for my light. I didn't accept myself for nothing.
Right.
But damn it, I knew I had those sparks in me. And now I'm surrounded by driftwood, drywood, all that shit. I'm leaving that wetwood behind.
It'll be on Friday's show, driftwood. Driftwood will be on Friday's show.
Oh, shit. But seriously, it really comes down to strip all your excuses. Strip them, please. Strip. Can you put that on there? Strip. Oh, he did it.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
I'm starting to feel like an illegitimate member of the show, and I don't want to crash your party. But
oh, shut up!
When Ray Double Dog dares me, I'm like, all right, I got to go up here and say what's up. You guys are amazing. I literally just tuned into you just to listen. I was just sitting on the couch, and I was just like, I just want to listen to these guys and jam out. But then Ray called me out, and I was like, oh.
Listen, the reason is we're talking about, and I'm passionate about, the no excuses. Who better to have to show up but the no excuse coach? Come on. You can't leave us like that, right, Brian?
Well, I just got to say this is that he came in on the word strip. Okay. So,
You did.
You gotta strip, baby. You gotta strip. You gotta strip all that bullshit.
She's like, Brian, that's a word for Friday's show. And I'm like, all of a sudden there Christopher appears. So
yeah, that's just it though. You gotta strip yourself from excuses, because if you keep evaluating your back of your past and trying to go forward, you are taking freaking leaps back and one step forward. It's bullshit. It just, there's no more of that in my life. And anyways, so how are we doing on the topic, sir?
You guys are doing fantastic. That's why I was like, Ray's like, oh, you need to get in there. I'm like, no, they're crushing it there. I was just sitting there back listening. You guys are massively intuitive. And yeah, I was like, that's why he's like, oh, I said, they're covering the subject as very well. I didn't get the chance to see the first part of the show. I have a cranky 4-year-old going on 15-year-old who didn't want to cooperate this morning. So I had to practice my no excuses, like, oh, okay.
No excuse, but you know what? I will.
But no, you guys are right. It's just about it's about getting out of your own way. It's literally, I have somebody, and I can say this because I know she's not going to be watching. There's somebody in our group coaching program, and it amazes me when people invest money in themselves, but they still choose to be a victim. That's one thing I've really realized is you guys can get up there, and we can get up there, and we can sit there and we can pump people up. We can give them all the opportunity in the world and every reason why they should get out of their own way. But ultimately it goes down to that pain, and we've all experienced that pain. And sometimes those people need to experience it. Even if they say they want help, they're not cognitively ready to make that jump across that bridge, because they feel like it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be scary. It's going to be uncertain, but that's life. And I was just listening to somebody last night, and they said, if you think you're going to get out of this world, by staying safe and comfortable and predictable and all other stuff, you're going to wind up having a lot of regrets in the end. So, at the end of the day, I teach people how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I suggest to people every single week, do one thing every single week that pushes you outside of your comfort zone and continue to grow and learn from that. But yeah, taking ownership of your life is, like I said, stop blaming. So many people are just blaming, oh, my parents, and it's because of this, and it's because of this. And I've had people with like horrible situations, like they've been gang raped and and somehow those people manage to find their way out. And it's because they choose not to be a victim anymore. Right.
And Christopher, I have a personal message for you. If you give me the permission.
You can anything.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I just want people to understand, as far as your son and him being fussy this morning and everything, I got to tell you that's perfect, because we really didn't get into this conversation kind of till you got here. But also I want to tell you that when he's crying or needs your attention, it's God telling you right that minute that he's the one that matters right now. And you're going to have those imprints of those times that you're going to appreciate them later. So this message is kind of cryptic right now, but what I'm saying to you, that as everything happens when it's supposed to happen. So embrace his tears and needing you, because he's pulling and say, Dad, I love you. So I just needed you to know that.
No, thank you. It was actually the opposite. No, he's like, get away. I don't want to listen to you and leave me alone. I'm like, oh, but you're absolutely right.
But what I'm saying is, little children, people take this for granted. Little children spirits, they come perfect. We just alter what they came. So if he told you to leave him alone, then that's another key for you to leave him alone. Then, just realize that he will teach you so much, as you already know. He'll teach you more than you can ever imagine. And so don't lose that. Anyways, and that message might be for one of our viewers, but I just needed to say that.
No worries. No, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's definitely.
So
I froze. No, it's definitely teaching me a lot. So what have been some of the questions? Has anybody asked you questions about how to take ownership of their life, or?
They haven't. They're enjoying what they're seeing. And if you have questions with the no excuse coach, bring it on. But, as far as taking ownership, I'm going to ask Brian real quick, when you decided to put this topic today, what came first to mind to you as far as
sure
on this topic?
Is that you do the inner work yourself first. Like you take some time to examine everything in your world that you want to have there, and you remove everything else, kind of like a road, right? You're standing on the middle of the road, and it's like to the left over here and to the right over there. Whatever's not in that, like, you get to choose whether you write it down or whatever. You examine your whole life. Anything that is not in there, you work this muscle to get rid of it. You shut it off. You disregard it, because if you don't do that, like as a foundation, if you don't, kind of like if somebody has been in a bad relationship, right? You've been heartbroken. How do you build yourself back up? By determining what kind of relationship that you want, number one, restoring everything from within, and asking and being very firm about the type of person you want to have in your life, and expecting nothing less than that, right? Because then when you actually go out, you're able to decipher if that person's right for you or not, because you've done the inner work to not waste anybody's time, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't, if we're looking for ownership of our life, this is much too deep to not take the time to identify it, because everybody's life is different. So, right. But it fires me up because everybody's path is different. So it's like everybody had, like, if we did, like, we took all these, every person has a piece of paper, and consider our life as our road, right? It doesn't mean that that road is bad or that road is bad. It means that we're on different paths, right?
Right.
Like my friend Bill told me the other day, which impacted me a lot. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It just doesn't mean that they might correspond or they might go in the right direction or the same direction.
No, but at the end of the day, what's really cool is you may go different directions, but you still have both of you having intention of the same end goal. It'll be cool how you map it up and where you end up at the finish line. Yeah. That's basically, we do have a question here, and I think all of us should take turns answering it real quick if you guys want to.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I was just going to ask you. Speaking of questions, before we answer that one,
okay.
What do you specifically each believe is the question that the person should ask themselves first? Like when they're watching this, and they're like, I need to take ownership. What is the question that they should ask themselves first?
Who am I, and what do I want? And in asking, who are you, as in, are you a narcissist? Are you this? Taking ownership of what you are and where you're at, and do you like that person? And then from there, taking it to, who do I want to be if I'm not that person? And that goes to admitting, cleaning up the fact that you can't change the shit. I can't change the shit that my daughters and my kids or my siblings that think of who I used to be. I can't change that shit. But I definitely can say, I want to feel better about myself, and this is who I'm going to be. So that's what's really important as far as taking ownership to the fact that, I had to raise my brothers and sisters, and I had to beat the shit out of them, their ass, if they didn't do the chores. Because if not, my parents would come home and beat them worse. So, I mean, and we used to starve for 4 days a week. I mean, these are things that, that happened in my life, and my sisters, when I talk to my sister, she triggers me that I want to beat her ass, so to speak, because she has no discipline or respect of me, or, all these things. So what do? I don't talk to her. I love her, and she respects me. You got to find those boundaries. I've apologized for it. One sister doesn't talk to me anymore. I've apologized for it. I mean, there's nothing else I could do. I know that that's who I was. I can't change that shit, but I move forward, and I've been brainwashed by being married to two narcissistic people that affected my kids. I was submissive to no end. That shit ain't me no more. I can't change that. But I can move forward and say, I'm not going to have that in my life no more. I know that I'm very quiet, catatonic, introvert. But shit, I'm not going to stop from being and impacting other people. I have fucked up in my life. I have. But that's not the person I am anymore. I mean, I was very fearful. You get raped, molested, and all that stuff from the time you're 5 years old, and see if that doesn't change your characteristic, okay? I mean, you just come out fighting. You just come out angry. But you realize angry and fighting don't help no deficit. So you go and move on. You move on to a place where you realize, love is love. And I've learned to love me. I've learned to forgive myself. I was going to be a New York State trooper. And then I'm married to somebody that decides to tell somebody I'm nuts, and I end up in a freaking psych ward because I just had a hysterectomy and I survived. I was hemorrhaging for 40 hours. Okay. Hemorrhaging so bad that they didn't think I'd live. I lived. I was excited for life. I wanted to tell people that life could be better and blah, blah, blah. Nobody was ready for that in 1996. So all I'm saying to you is I've saved my soul. I've almost died many times. I'm here for a purpose and for a reason. And I'm just putting the shit down on the table. Oh my gosh, Tim Gillette's here.
What's up, Tim Gillette?
Yeah, he's a legend. So,
I've known Timmy for a long time.
Yeah, Tim, how you doing?
Rockstar.
I say all that shit to say this. I'm really gonna work on my freaking book because I don't want to tell you all the shit that I've been through. Why the hell does that matter? What you should see is I'm love and light right now. I'm very intuitive. I'm standing up on all that shit right now, who I am. It's exhausting talking about my freaking resume. If you cannot see the person that I evolved and who I am now, then maybe keep looking somewhere else because I'm love and light. And when I hear people talk about I can empathize. I'm an empath. But you know what? The excuses are gone. That did not stop me from being a good, kinded person today. And so that's all that matters. I'm Puerto Rican. I mean, just a bunch of shit. I never even told anybody I was Puerto Rican because I knew people were very discriminatory of that. Okay. I mean, I knew that. I found it very easy not to find friction. I don't like friction. I won't be around people that give me friction. But I realize if you guys want the friction shit knowing, I could tell you, I didn't like that. It didn't resonate with my soul. What resonates with my soul is to be love and light, love my enemies. I have learned to love my enemies. And because of that, I'm a better person today. And that's what I want to let everybody know. I've had to love people that have raped me. I've had to love people that molested my children. I've had to love and let fucking go. Okay. And I've done that. And I know that it's possible for everybody else. So when you give me your excuse, I can empathize with you for a minute. But then I'm like, if you want to get freaking better, let's get freaking better. If not, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Next. I used to stay there and just try to be with that 60% of the people that didn't want to do shit. I'm not there no more. I'm sorry. I've given you so many freaking examples. I can't do it no more for you. I've lost 100 pounds twice. I'm working on my third time losing 100 pounds. And still they say, Lynn, how'd you do it? Why the fuck am I going to tell you when you're going to freaking not take the action and you're not going to believe I did it? Especially being a bodybuilder and a former athlete. So I'm done. So
you need to go full screen. You need to have the full screen Lynn rant right now. You guys need like graphics like flames coming off of like this is the Lynn rant, that kind of thing. That was beautiful.
Well,
I think she's got to get like an orange or orange and red windscreen for those fire moments. You know what I mean? And,
I love it. How would you answer that question?
Well, 3 different ways. And they're all in the series of questions because it's like when you ask yourself a question, you're the only one that can answer it, right? Now, obviously you take in what life gives you and all that, but it's like, am I my word? Right?
Absolutely.
I live a life of integrity. Am I my word today? Did everything that I said that I would give my word to, did I fulfill upon that? It's yes or no, right? Other 2 questions that I ask myself every day, because for me, different than Lynn, whatever happened in the past, I leave it there, right? I leave it there. I may bring it up here and there, but I don't bring it back, right? If somebody wants to know or whatever, because I know that my past is not where I need to be, right? Whatever happened in the past, I'm going to leave it there. I'm complete with it, right? So everything out is an open road in front of me, okay? So the other 2 questions I ask myself every day is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Okay? You're late for an appointment. What are you going to do about it? I didn't fulfill upon my thing for Lynn to get her the topic for tomorrow. What am I going to do about it? Right? And then the third question is, how can you afford not to?
Ooh, I love that.
Classes, courses, whatever, right? We're all in a performance environment, right? We're all performing. We're all there is very little margin anymore for us to hide anymore for anything we're up to in the world, right? So how can you afford not to, right?
Right.
And so, and I'm not talking money here. I'm talking about your time, your effort, all of that, because everybody wants to say, well, I don't have enough money, or my job downsized. Okay. Well, I'm not asking, it's always an easy out when somebody asks that question, about money. And it's like, I already know where their mind is going. Your time, your effort, your hustle, all of that doesn't take any money. What are you going to do to enrich your time? What are you going to do to help somebody else out? So those are my 3 questions. Am I my word, right? Living a life out of integrity every day. Number 2 is, what are you going to do about it? And number 3 is, how can you afford not to?
Love it. I love it. I love that last part, especially, how can you afford not to? That's such a great delineation. I love that.
Well, and good example, right? As far as about my word, right? This is just it. I've taken it. There's many people in my life that didn't stick to their word. Well, if I don't freaking like that, and I know how that feels, and I can empathize with that, what am I going to do and change in my life? I'm going to make my word, my experience, be something of value to show and hold up to that. Mm-hmm. But the problem I had for a long time is I wouldn't keep my word to my freaking self, but I can keep it to everybody else but myself.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You can't disconnect from yourself. And I avoided who I was and what I am, and because I was so shameful of a lot of shit in my life. But now I realize, you know what? I'm fucking human. I've had the experiences, and I'm bringing the experiences out and being vulnerable because I hid behind my excuses. And there is no excuse for anybody else that's really drowning and wants to wallop. I used to be the one that would create and worry about things before they happened. Well, how well did that work every time that you worried about things like that? So again, what's your answer to your question you asked us? And then let's
we got to wrap up here.
I don't care for a few minutes.
We have another question here I want to make sure that we get to, but honestly, it's along the same lines. What we're saying is essentially all the same. I try to break it down even simpler than that, because I try to make it like stupid proof for people. And I tell people, ask them, are you happy? Yes or no?
I love
There's no in between. There's no in between. Yes or no? No, I'm not happy. Okay. What am I going to do about it? Same thing, Brian. I mean, so I'm not happy. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to bitch, piss, and moan. Okay, guess what? How's that working for you? Right? You continue to do what you've always done. You're going to continue to get what you've always got. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do differently? How are you going to break out of that mold? How are you going to decide that you're no longer going to be a victim? I sit there and tell them, like, when did you decide to be a victim? Like, I'm not a victim. I'm like, have you heard yourself talk for the last 5 fucking minutes? You're a victim. Jesus Christ. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And I don't feel like doing this. You're a victim. Shut up. When you ask somebody that question, when did it become okay to become complacent?
That's a coach, folks.
Ask somebody that question. When did it become okay to be mediocre? I'm not mediocre. Really? Then tell me the last 5 things you did that fucking stood out. Well, I took my trash out on Wednesday instead of Thursday. I bought light cream cheese instead, whatever it might be. Come on. It's just like you said. And I love the fact that you keep a promise to yourself. That's something my wife said to me a couple of years ago. And I was really surprised at how it impacted me because of what I do. And she says, and then she did something. She quit smoking at that time. She quit that smoking. I said, why did you do that? And she goes, I kept a promise to myself. She goes, I made a promise to myself. And it really stuck to me. Like, how many promises do we make to other people that we will live and die for to keep? But make a promise to myself. I promise I'm going to exercise 5 times a week, no matter what. I promise I'm going to drink half my body weight in ounces of water every day. I promise that I'm going to wake up and be grateful for everything that I have, not focus what I don't have. It's all about a choice. It's all about a determination of whether somebody wants to stay miserable or not. That's their determination. I've learned, like what you guys have said, I used to be a compulsive motivationalist where I wanted to help everybody. If you were miserable, I could figure out a way to get you not miserable and figure out a way to get your life set. And I would sit there and do that. But guess what? It wouldn't stick because the mind didn't stick. They didn't change the foundational principles in their mind of being that victim. That's what really separates people from that class, is making that determination that I'm not going to stop until I achieve what it is that I want to achieve. I'm not going to let my past be a predictor of my future. I'm a living example of it. You guys are a living example of it. We're nothing different than anybody else. So anybody watching this, whether it's live or later on, you have the opportunity right now to ask yourself, am I happy? yes or no. And if you're not, then change whatever fucking isn't making you happy, and then you'll be happy, and that shit works. But we had a question earlier I want to make sure we get to.
Yes. Okay. This one was, what pushes someone to become disciplined no matter what? It's
we
a
answered
mindset.
that. We answered that.
You answered that one?
Yeah, no, all three of us answered that. We started. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's the other question?
I thought there was another one. Tracy says, "Are you really ready to do the work? It gets ugly." Triple that. Thank you.
Well, Tracy, I'll start with this one, and then I'm going to have to bug out of here in just a few minutes. But is that Tracy? First of all, it gets ugly. That's an interpretation, because we can't pinpoint ugly on a wall, right? Whatever you think about is how you're going to look at it, right? Ugly is, to one, an opportunity to another, right? So the framing of it gets ugly. Okay, but that meaning was established somewhere, somehow in your mind, right? So when I look at that, are you really ready to do the work? It gets ugly.
Well, it's because you are actually looking in the mirror and saying, shit, this is where I'm at. I was a bodybuilder. I get naked now and say, shit, you don't look nothing like you did before. But you know what? Then I say, hey, that's what I did to myself. We'll see where we're going to go, but we're going to go this way, or whatever. I mean, it's hard to look at the facts in the mirror, yes, but there's a lot of things you can do about it. I mean, shit, I'm 55 years old. I'm a grandma. I'll give myself excuses for the wrinkles and the cellulite and whatever that happened. But, the point is that's where I'm at. And that was the consequence. I'm paying for where I'm at. So you got to admit it. And you go, it doesn't feel good to lose 100 pounds and people see me and go, what the hell happened? It's not easy. And I've got a medical excuse, but I don't use that freaking excuse. That's not the point. There's shit I imposed damage on myself as well. I was freaking hooked on sugar, man. And I got rid of sugar and now shit's happening. But the point is you got to find out what it is that you need to do, that you have control over, and that's doing work for yourself. Yes.
Before Christopher, before you share, Tracy, consider taking the first part of that question and dropping the other part. Based on what Christopher said, in the questions, are you happy? Yes or no? Because when it says it gets ugly, that's a maybe. That's not a definitive yes or no, because are you or aren't you? What gets in the road is when you don't commit, or someday or somehow. No. It's yes or no. If you said yes, then you figure out how to do it. No, well then don't complain about it, right? So consider getting rid of it gets ugly and just looking at it for all it is. Are you really ready to do the work?
Right.
Yes or no? And then you create a course of action.
And put the verbiage, even when it gets ugly.
I would just say that. I would say just answer the question, because then it allows the brain to not commit or to start creating a plan of action, because we don't want to be accountable for anything. But then when we feel extreme pain, maybe not physical pain, but when we really need to get out of a rut, we can't do it because we didn't commit to anything. There's no plan.
So we really need to get going. And Christopher, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Christopher.
You just did a great job confirming what we were doing. We're not trying to be coaches here. We're just trying to give people different perspectives. And yet I still felt like we needed a coach in the house for this specific thing. So don't worry. You can say hi to us any other time and we won't bring you up. But as far as the no excuse, we really had to drive that shit home. So go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, so our action step, and we thank everybody, all of our loyal listeners and anybody catching the replay for being with us. Without you a part of our show, the show doesn't exist. So thanks to Christopher for joining us today and chiming in and helping us. So the action step, as we move on to day number 3 of the week of evolving, is what does taking ownership for you, everybody that's watching, look and feel like? The place I want looking at it is one thing, but feeling it, right? Move to where your heart is. Jot it down. We'd love to hear any comments you'd like to share with us and be vulnerable with us tomorrow when we start our show again.
Thanks again, Christopher, for being here. Yes. Hold on. And you guys have a great day. Make yourself happy, do the work, and stop your bitching. Okay, I'm out.
Bye.